Hey there, I'm Sarah Zarella, a portrait and wedding photographer and your host for Wedding Secrets Unveiled. This is a podcast where we cut through the complexity of wedding planning, leaving you with everything you need to know directly from the industry experts. If you want to simplify your wedding planning while having fun, of course, you came to the right place. Join me while I guide you through your planning, starting from your engagement to your big day when you say, I do. After photographing for over 20 years, I am sharing with you tips and tricks to cut through the excess noise. Because I believe from the moment you said yes, your planning experience should be a magical time in your life. Here you'll find episodes that are fun, stress-free, and straight to the point with a fresh, honest take on the reality of what you really need to know about planning your perfect day. Let's dive in. Welcome back to Wedding Secrets Unveiled podcast, friends. So today I have Ashley Whalen, who is the owner and founder of Menta Graze. So you're wondering, what is this show all about today? Have you ever heard or worked with a luxury experience company that creates a very unique vibe to any of your events, as big as your wedding to as small as an intimate dinner with friends? It could be your bridal shower. It could be your baby shower. It could be your engagement party. It could be when you are going to be proposed to or proposing. With that said, Ashley is your girl. She can completely level up any event. She is a wealth of knowledge, super creative, and she is your go-to girl for a little mixture of planning / creating a design flair to your big or small event. So sit back, relax, and enjoy my creative, inspiring conversation with Ashley. Well, welcome back to Wedding Secrets Unveiled podcast, friends. I'm your host, Sarah Zarella, and today I am sitting across from...
Hi, I'm Ashley from Menta Graze.
Well, thank you, Ashley, for joining us.
I'm so happy to be here with you.
It's been a long time in the making to get you to sit across from me.
I know, it's exciting.
And I'm excited for you to let our listeners know who you are, who you serve, and what you do in your business.
So Menta Graze is a luxury event company. So we focus on event decor, tablescape rentals, event rentals, and luxury picnics. Really kind of anything events need us to do, we will do it.
So how did you come up with the name, by the way?
So a lot of people ask me that question. Menta is an abbreviation for my maiden name, Mentavlos. So, and Graze came up with the grazing boards for luxury picnics. So we kind of meshed those two together, which was nice. So I got to incorporate a little bit of like who I am in the name.
I love it. Well, let's talk about it. Tell us about this business of yours and how did you even evolve? I mean, I know the answer because I've been watching your career for many years. Ashley and I have known each other for a very long time.
Yes. We've done a lot of weddings with each other.
Yes. But I have seen you start this small little business evolve into a big little business.
Yes, and that's the greatest part of Menta Graze is that it started because of COVID and it grew significantly very quick, and I couldn't be more grateful for that. But really how my whole career started was working as an event specialist for Longwood in Newport. That was back in 2012, 2013.
It was before you were getting married.
Yes, I think I just was dating my husband at that time.
Yeah, because I literally remember working with you and you didn't have your ring on, and all of a sudden I showed up and you had your ring on. I'm like, excuse me, did you get engaged?
Yes, and I did the classic wedding planner wedding in the winter because I didn't have the time.
Fair.
Yes.
Fair.
But yeah, so I was event specialist there for quite some time. It was 2020. I actually left before COVID hit because I had my son, and then the world shut down and my maternity leave was over, and I was like, what do I do? And really I started with grazing boards and charcuterie boards, and those were a hit. And then I went to the Breakers for a picnic with my husband, and my son. And of course I went over the top because that's what I do with everything.
FYI, not to chime in here, we are going to have Ashley's social media handles on the show notes, but you do have to follow her because she's not kidding. She literally goes over the top on everything she does. So she just made a couple weeks back some gingerbread cookies, I want to say, right?
Yeah,
with your kids
always.
And it was literally in her kitchen, just a regular Saturday, but yeah, it was a full-fledged spread. Just go on her Instagram or her social Facebook and just find it. It's back in December. You'll see what I'm talking about.
It's crazy. Yes, the one with the elf on the shelf will probably blow your mind.
Fair.
But yeah, it's so then when I started Menta Graze, we did that luxury picnic, and I was like, this is an awesome idea. We had a lot of people come up to us saying, do you do this for a living? Can you do this for me? This is so pretty. And I just had the light bulb turned on, and I was like, oh my God, I can do this. This is something where we can do outside that, is okay by law. And it just blew up. Everyone was like, oh my God. And they look like mini weddings too. They are so elaborate. We've done engagements. We've done engagement photo shoots with that. We've done bridal showers. We've done bachelorettes with all of those. And it just kept on going. And then I started doing more and more luxury events from that. A lot of baby showers and bridal showers, of course, and a lot of just event decor.
So it's really taking off where you started with cheese boards, which you can still throw in there, right?
Yes, that's always still an add-on.
And then, but now really you're servicing decor, but leveling up events in more of the picnic tablescape area.
Yeah, of course, the luxury picnics are not as popular, and right now we're doing them probably about 10 people or more, because they're just a very more elaborate in an event world than they are with a 2-person kind of picnic.
But the tablescapes and the picnics, when I say picnics, meaning that's the event.
Yes.
Get all your girlfriends together for your bachelorette party or your bridal shower. So for all those listeners out there, if you're wondering what you should really do for these events, this is something to be thinking about.
And that's the thing too, is if you want a bachelorette, it's not just a sit-down picnic. We can get creative. We can really look at something fun we can do when we're there. We can do an experience at your picnic as well. You could do a little bit of painting. You could do a little arts and crafts, make best friend bracelets, or have photo backdrops. We do add-on photographers. We really keep the creativity open to do something really, really cool.
Let's actually talk about that portion of your business right now, because I think what we should really do is we should talk a little bit about the event decor and the tablescapes, and we'll talk a little bit about the picnics and where they've evolved. But right now, let's really focus in on that portion, right? Mm-hmm. So if you were, let's say someone called you because they heard you on the show, right? Yeah. And they're like, okay, listen, Ashley, I heard you on the show. I'm getting married, and I just really want to do something fun. Because, obviously, when people are getting married, yes, you're getting married, but you're also, this is your time to bring your favorite people together. So, there's obviously the bachelorette, and there's obviously the bridal shower, right, that they can bring people together. Talk to me about what's some first steps that you do on that initial phone call. Because, I would assume budget is really also determined based on what they want to do, right? And sky's the limit. So
exactly.
Take me through your first initial call. If someone just is calling you and being like, I don't know what I want to do, but I want to do something.
Yeah. So really, I just want to know if they want to have fun, do they want it to be pretty, kind of get a scope of who they are, and really kind of mesh in an experience and decor together to make, their bridal shower. They're even asking down to bridesmaids or groomsmen and making all of that little details and experience. And that comes down to decor, staging boxes to ask your bridesmaids and making it into a whole tablescape. At home, too, we've done it with a backdrop and balloons and everything like that. The bridal shower, we could just, bring in something for your guests to do. Same thing with your weddings. Even down to getting ready for a wedding, we've had people reach out to me to make something pretty while they're getting ready.
Oh,
Yeah. And so the options are endless. With every client that I do have, we just talk and I get to know them. And we really kind of brainstorm their ideas as well, brainstorm my ideas, and we just get super creative on all aspects.
I love that. Because even just sitting there talking to you, like, I didn't even think about, someone could call you and be like, where do I even start with something? And then all of a sudden, you just dropped a little nugget right there about, like, getting ready on your bridal day.
And
or
you're there for hours. Yeah.
Right. The other nugget you dropped is, like, little custom boxes to ask set the tone of your wedding experience.
Exactly. You can make a whole day out of it. So we've done a charcuterie class that all the bridesmaids did together. And then they went and had a little mocktail that I created. It was very delicate, cute. And I switched their whole table from their charcuterie class to Ask My Bridesmaids boxes. So it was an event in itself. I was there as a planner and decorator at the same time. And the bride could relax and really enjoy the time with her bridesmaids or whoever she wanted to ask to be in her wedding. And she gets to really enjoy it. And I think that's the best part for brides and grooms is they do so much work. It's nice to have a boutique luxury event company handle that for you.
And you also just said something in there. Again, like, you're probably taking everything for granted because this is what you do. But, like, you just stuck in there, like, a little nugget, guys. Yeah. Like, I can also be there for the planner. Like, yes, like, you can come and set up, but you can also stay and help host.
Right.
Well, the event, so therefore the actual host doesn't have to have the burden.
No, and I want the host to enjoy the time. And that, is the most important. That's why I'm there.
So talk to me about tablescapes. I really want to know, like, what are you doing lately a lot of? And what have you not done that you want to do? Yeah, I'm putting you on the spot, but, like, I want to know, like, obviously let's talk about what you're doing, like, a lot of. I mean, obviously every event is different, but just talk to me about, like, some of the common things you're doing. And I mean, obviously you're putting spins on it, but then I really want to know one thing that's been, like, in your brain, you're like, I just need to do this. Yeah. Someone called me to do this.
That one I might have to think about, so I don't know about that. But with tablescapes, we did some Thanksgiving tablescapes. So what I did is I had went to people's houses that were hosting big Thanksgiving dinners, and I did their charger plate, their dinner plate, salad plate, flatware, glassware, full-on centerpieces for their dining room table or wherever they were hosting dinner. And I would set it all up with name cards, and I would come back the next day and pick it up. All they have to do is take all of their items that they had and put it in the 2 boxes that I left with them, put it on their front steps, and I will remove it. We don't even need to see you. We don't need to schedule time for pickup. It's very convenient for the person. They don't even have to clean their dishes. They can just say, clear the food off, and then just put it back in, and I clean it all professionally at home, and as it's my rental items.
So you're also like a little rental company.
Yes.
And I don't mean little, like meaning like where you do it all.
Yes. Yep. From start to finish. And I think I like doing it that way. I love hosting other vendors with me, but I like the planning aspect and the day of setting and executing as my own, just because I'm the one that consulted with the client and I want to start from the start to finish and making sure everyone's happy.
Right. That's amazing. Awesome. Well, what we're going to do, Ashley, is we're going to take a quick break. And when we get back, let's talk a little bit about the big events that you do, like the weddings. And then we'll go talk a little bit about the small events that you've done and the picnics.
Absolutely. I love that.
Perfect. I appreciate you being here. And hey, if you like what you're hearing, I encourage you to check out our website at sarahzarella.com. And don't forget, you can actually subscribe to this podcast wherever you're listening so you never miss an episode. And I would so appreciate if you left a fabulous review on Apple Podcast. Even better, share it with a friend. It's a great way to show your support. And now, let's get back to the episode. Well, welcome back to Wedding Secrets Unveiled podcast, friends. Before the break, we were talking with Ashley a little bit about her business, how it came about, all the creative avenues that you can work with Ashley with in her business. But I really want to talk about now the big events like the weddings, or I'm sure you have huge events like engagement parties and bridal showers. And then also, too, let's talk about the small events, which are the custom picnics.
Right. So we've been doing a lot of weddings lately. We're getting a lot of inquiries for 2025. And we have been really looking at what we can do for people. And I think that's the most exciting. I have been drawing up crazy mood boards for people. We have been thinking so out of the box, and I absolutely love it. I cannot wait for this season.
Ooh, spill the tea on some some ideas.
So I know this is terrifying for some brides, but the color brown and black has been coming.
Listen, so here's the deal. Do you know that the Pantone color just got released?
It's the mocha.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
I'm so pumped because I had brown at my wedding. Let's say it's been 7 years.
Yep.
So I'm excited to finally see it come to life. I'm a huge antique person, so rustic trunks and all of that brown, those tones, are coming into the wedding world, but they're also transforming into delicate. So brown's like a delicate color. They're using it in the bows and ribbons and velvet, and it's so exciting. So I've been dying for a daredevil bride or grooms to come and do something cool. Like, let's get dark, let's get moody, and really
It's so funny you said that, because literally you're obviously, that shows you how talented you are, that you're like ahead of the trend, because right now it just released, but you've been dealing with that thought process before. And it's starting to come even like in home decor.
Yep.
I think that the listeners really need to understand that the wedding world finds its muse, right? A lot in the trends that are happening in other fields. So you'll start to see home decor, home installation, like for example, right? And just follow my thought process here. So I just know because my family is in the building world, and I'll start to see we just got out of a phase about 10 years ago where everything was white, white cabinetry, light and airy, white backsplashes, everything was just really, and grays and cool, and just really cool tones, just very neutral white. Well, then all of a sudden right now that you're starting to see is people like to put a splash of color. So people's kitchen islands will be a navy blue or something like that. Well, now what's happening, so the pendulum went all the way to white, gave it a little splash of color. Now the pendulum's going all the way to the other side. Dark cherry, mahogany, those colors are coming back into kitchen design. And that was before the white era, because the answer to that was the white era, right? So you walk into someone's home and you see all white, you'll know that they built their house about 10 years ago.
Yeah, you know exactly when. They call it, the millennial gray?
Right, yes. And then if you see someone whose island is a navy or a green, you know that they just renovated it.
Right.
But now if you start to see the kitchen cabinets coming back in mahogany, all those people that haven't done their kitchen redos, in 15 years are going to be in style.
I know, and it's great because I'm halfway like that
as
well.
So with that said, our wedding industry is the same. So during the white years, you saw a lot of glitz and glams and chandeliers and just just very, very, very crystals. Remember that era? And then we went into the rustic era.
We went through the rustic,
And then the pop of color was we just got out of the big pop of color.
The
era.
big, yes.
Yep.
And sage green. That was people's safe color, which I'm a huge fan of sage green, though. I could paint my whole house in that color.
So I haven't seen weddings yet introducing the browns and the chocolates, really, but it will, because the Pantone color just came out, which you'll start to see fashion, you'll start to see home decor. Right. So if you want to be a bride that's on trend, this is your tip.
Yes, it is.
This is it.
And I think
change
I
your
also
color palette to
be,
brown.
Yeah, it's daring. I'll take you with me on that journey. But I also like to be ahead of the trend. So I'm thinking, what is the color that's going to be after brown? And that's, the clients that I want to take on. I want to take on someone that's give me lime green. Not that I really want lime green, but that's just an example.
Well, what you want to do is once you start to see your Pinterest boards, all those pictures and all those events have already been done.
Exactly.
So Ashley wants you to be the bride or the couple or the groom that literally is creating those boards for others to follow suit.
Yeah. Yes, we want to be the first ones to do it.
Yeah.
So, and I know it's very scary to do that on your wedding day, because it's your wedding day and those photos last forever. So I'll take the daring ones for their engagement parties, and I've been loving the engagement parties where we do something at a bowling alley. I've been loving that lately and really going outside of the box. And we've gone to a bowling alley. It's after their dinner. They hosted all their friends at a bowling alley, and we had a massive dessert bar that was all like related into bowling and to the couple as well. And we thought about so many different things. We had bowling pins that were drinks, and it was so cool.
I love it.
And everyone just had a blast. They loved the non-traditional, party that came with the wedding.
I love it.
Yeah.
So now let's talk about that. Let's talk a little bit about the smaller events.
Right. So those would be my smaller ones. They don't sound too small, but they are small.
But you know what, though? But I would assume they're also, like, there's something to be said about going over the top and the unexpected areas.
Yeah. And people will talk about it forever. And I think that's where you want people to talk about it forever so you can put your money in that spot. And it's tough when you're planning so many other things for your wedding. Thinking about saying a fun thing to do on your rehearsal dinner is in the back of their mind. That's not something that they want to do. They are thinking of the wedding day. And I think it's a nice luxury experience for someone to be like, all right, I'll think of a bunch of brainstorm ideas, present them to you on a mood board, and you look and see which one you like best. And that's what I like. We don't just do one. I can do multiple mood boards, multiple ideas for people to really pick what they like. And I will give them from the very beginning to the very end of guests will enter. They'll get a signature drink at the rehearsal dinner. They'll have a beautiful custom tablescape with escort cars, their seating arrangements, down to now the experience. And I think that's also another huge thing that people need to think of when planning all of these parties is the experience in itself. Not always just decor, so we can facilitate the experience of giving something fun to do, say, even down to their signature drinks. There's printers that can print the bride and groom or print your guests on the drink, and people love it. And it's just those little things that not everyone thinks of that we're there to do.
And that's the thing. It's that it can get a little overwhelming for someone who's not in our industry. And I mean, for you, you're rambling things off just sitting here on the spot talking to me. Imagine if someone was actually got your all in your mind on their actual event. It could be very overwhelming. But I think one thing that gets lost of somebody who is not a planner and not in our world, but who is planning something, is they think about the details and the decor, but they forget about the marriage and the merging of the guests who are attending this event and their experience.
Yes.
And that's when you can marry the two. Does that make sense?
Yeah, it does.
And that's why you need someone like yourself there. Or like, it's just, I don't know. I just think that's where I find that it can get lost because you can spend all this time, energy, money, and do it yourself type of stuff, and it gets lost.
And it's tough, too, for wedding planners in themselves. So I work a lot with wedding planners because wedding planners do so many other things you would not think about, organizing the tablescapes, talking to all of the vendors, making sure your arrangements with everything are all set. So when it comes down to rehearsal, they may not have time to find or brainstorm the experience and decor with that. So they outsource me to kind of do those smaller side jobs, the engagement party, the rehearsal dinners, the, bridal shower, or anything that comes with the wedding, even the day after. The wedding planner is usually picking up everything at the venue the next day and making sure it gets to mom and dad's house or, the groom's house or whatnot. And I can facilitate the next day for them, and they can finish off what they were already supposed to do.
And then the other thing I was going to say to you, is before we wrap up the show is I want to talk a little bit about what we were just talking before we went on air, right? So Ashley came in, and obviously we were catching up because we haven't seen each other in a little bit. But I was just, I've actually gotten a couple of different emails randomly over the last month or so about picnics, like what Ashley told you all about, how she started this in the COVID years. And people actually, I think it's coming from a blog that I wrote, and people are looking. It basically was a small little picnic that was designed for a couple that was getting engaged. So, this was back 4 years ago in the COVID years. So, somehow, some way, you all are finding this blog, and you're asking if I create this, and I'm like, I am just the photographer. So I have passed names off to some people in the industry that I know, and Ashley being one of them. But talk to me about where you're at in your business with this scenario, because as obviously it's coming up somewhere. It's not. If it's coming from me, it has to be other places.
It would be cool if it was coming back around. It died down for a little bit, and as we can see, it looks like it may be coming back.
I think it's coming back,
which it was great. Right now, at this time, we're doing such bigger events that we can't really physically do 2-person picnics. It's just it's a lot for us to go to Newport, set up. When we were doing luxury picnics for 2 to 4 people, we were doing about multiple a day, so it just made it worth it for us. So right now we're just doing maybe about 10 people and more for luxury picnics. That is we've been their bachelorettes and bridal showers, or asking bridesmaids to be in your wedding, that they turn that into a luxury picnic as well. We have an add-on charcuterie. We even have a photographer add-on for that as well.
Or birthday parties.
Yes. Little girl birthday parties. Yeah. It's huge.
So, if you're looking to do something like this, at least, like you said, it would have to be something where to make everybody's time worth it, yours and also to the clients, because they don't want to spend their money somewhere where it's just not going to be feasible for them.
Exactly.
So you have to be a little bit more than 2 people. But that's originally where your business started.
It did.
And here we are.
Yes, I know. It's crazy how things change. We were doing luxury picnics right away. We were the best of Rhode Island the first year that we started. I could not believe that.
Well, it blew up.
It was unbelievable.
Because it was something new.
It was something new, and it was great, too, because I've been in the industry for so long before that I knew a lot of people, for instance, you, and referrals that happened. Oh, I knew someone that did that yesterday, and it was great. And now that once everyone can go inside, go to restaurants, and do all of that, it kind of died down. So it kind of stuck to more of an event-based picnic, and that's what we're going to stick to for now, unless I can see multiple 2-people picnics coming around.
But like you said, it's because we're able to go back inside now.
Right, yeah.
So why not decorate what you already have inside now?
Yes, exactly. So that's another thing. So we'll be doing Galentine's events for tablescapes, or Valentine tablescapes. I've been getting a lot of inquiries for that.
Ooh,
so
fun.
Anyone that's going to be doing kind of like a romantic dinner at home, or wants to propose to someone at home on Valentine's Day, we can, execute something together like that, and make sure it's all set up in your home. So when you walk in with your maybe soon-to-be fiance, it's all set up and pretty, and you have a professional doing it. I know people will have a sister or a loved one that will do it, but if you really want over the top and make sure it's done very well, that's us.
Yeah, and also, too, it is definitely on trend. It's not going to go away to capture a proposal.
Right.
I do those all the time.
Yeah.
That is, but why not, if you want to elevate a little bit, why not bring Ashley in the mix and, nudge your soon-to-be fiance and just drop some hints of, you want to also elevate the presentation of it.
We'll make sure they say yes.
Yeah. Elevate the presentation of it, Well, there's also, too, another project that you were telling me that you're working on.
Yes, that is. And that's very brand new. I've been doing it for about 6 months, close to a year. It takes a long time. I am creating a local book for hosting at home. So I wanted to create something to teach people how to host at home. I know you can see a lot of the stuff on social media and Instagram with influencers are like, look at this neon light and all of this cool stuff that I did for this party at home. And people are like, I don't even know where to begin to do that. I want to help them create that at home and budget-wise. And I'm incorporating a lot of local vendors in this book. So pretty much it's for a local community to host at home. They can go to their local restaurant and see the dish that I bought from there, and they bring it home, and I'll teach them how to make a tablescape very cheap per that theme, and step by step as well. Some people will look at, a roll of paper. I'll make it into a Christmas tree. But some people don't know how to see that and create that. And I want to help them. I want people to always still have that fun on their own without me. And I think that's a cool treat to do for them.
I think it's perfect. I mean, that's how all the best books are made. I mean, it's something very simple for you. It's second nature, but you have to realize that not everybody has what you see.
Right. And I a lot of people tell me that. I have a lot of friends that be like, how did you even think of that? And I just go, I don't know. It just came up. So they're like, can you teach me? And of course, yes. And then that's what kind of made me think of, let's do a book. Let's, start becoming Martha Stewart myself.
Why not? Just don't land yourself in tax embezzlement jail. But I mean,
right? Yeah.
I mean, you're right. We need another next Martha Stewart's right here.
Oh, I would love that to be a dream come true.
There you go, my friend. All right, my friend. It's time for our wrap-up question. What are some key points that couples should be asking when they call a luxury experience company to make sure that they are working with a professional company that will ensure that their event is a perfect one?
That's a great question. I think the most important question would be kind of making sure that that person is there from start to finish. They're the person you're detailing with, the person you're planning everything with. They're there day of, and they're making sure the end is perfect as well. It's just very important. We also like to make sure that we're the only ones on site. We are not, having someone close out the event that did not detail or do anything with the event.
I mean, that's what makes it luxury.
Right.
Yeah. Fair.
I think another important thing which I strive in, I think I'm really good at, is when you start detailing with a company and they don't kind of give you ideas right off the bat and kind of bounce off what you're giving them for ideas is a big red flag. I think creative juices that flow very quickly is a huge green flag because they're instantly thinking about you and your event and what they can do instead of saying, oh, we'll come back to that and I'll get back to you.
Smart. Mm-hmm. Right. Because they really... I mean, that's what you're hiring them for, is their their thoughts, their creativity, their intelligence about the event.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And you should be excited about it. They should be pumped. Like, oh, okay, I have this idea. Oh, you know what? Let's think about this. And it should get you excited about what you're planning. And if you're not excited about what you're planning in that consultation with someone, I don't think it's a right fit. Yeah, and I think lastly is making sure your budget fits with that vendor. It costs money to get the nice vendors, and you won't be stressed about it. You'll know you're in great hands, and money, unfortunately, if helps, it makes your event 10 times better, stress-free, beautiful, flawless, all the things that you want.
Yeah, I mean, realistic expectations. I mean, at the same time, things do cost money.
They do.
Yeah.
And we do work well with budgets, and I think someone that can work with a budget is helpful as well. But understanding your budget is what helps even more.
Exactly. I love that. So, with that said, I mean, it is what it is, Ashley.
It is honestly. You mean you have to have a budget when you're walking into a venue to book your wedding?
I mean,
and that's what comes down with everything that is in wedding planning. And
and I mean, obviously, with what you're doing, because it's luxury and customizable, you don't want the budget to be the driving force because, I mean, obviously that can be pliable. Like, people can raise their budget if they start to realize that, I really want this. But at the end of the day, if you want to elevate your wedding and make it unique.
Exactly. Things cost money. I don't have a minimum when it comes to budget. I don't have a minimum. Of course, it's not free. And I work with all budgets. But it's kind of like when you're ordering food. If you order 3 appetizers, 2 entrees, and drinks, you have a price tag on that. If you only order 2 salads, yes, it's going to be lower. And that's what I think a lot of people need to think of when they're
This is a good analogy.
thinking of their budgets.
And that's what's going to make sure that you know if they're a right fit with you.
Right.
That conversation has to happen off the bat.
It does. And unfortunately, it's a tough thing to ask. It's a tough thing to talk about money. But if someone kind of pushes you off to the side that you're talking to about budget, be like, oh, we can make that work right away. I don't know. Sometimes I kind of I don't believe it. Be like, oh, I give people the option of like, here's everything. Here's the cost behind it. You can remove it or you can say yes to it. And that's how we work on a budget.
It's just being realistic and making sure you have a good working experience together.
Yeah.
But fair. Okay. So with that said, I want to thank you so much for being on this week's episode of Wedding Secrets Unveiled.
I love it.
You helped our listeners become one step closer to their journey of a stress-free wedding and event planning. Can you tell everybody where they could find you?
Yes, you can find me on social media, mainly on Instagram. You can find me on the Menta Graze company, or you can also just find me on my personal one. So I do a lot of over-the-top stuff with my friends and family and kids. So that will be at Ashley Whalen.
And then also, too, what I'll have for all of you listeners is I'll have all of Ashley's information on our episode show notes, which you can always find on our blog and our website podcast page, which is at sarahzarella.com/podcast. Thank you for listening to Wedding Secrets Unveiled. I appreciate you being here. And hey, if you enjoyed this episode, I want to tell you something. I encourage you to check out our website at sarahzarella.com. We love photographing while having fun, of course. Check out our podcast page on our website for our show notes along with upcoming episodes with your local wedding experts. Listen in as we help you plan your epic event. And don't forget that you can actually subscribe to this podcast wherever you are listening so you never miss an episode. I would so appreciate if you left a review for us on Apple Podcasts. Even better, share it with a friend. It's a great way to show your support and let us know what you think. If you know any wedding experts that would like to be a guest, we have a link directly on our website where they can let us know. Thank you for listening.